Hello crocheter and crafters. Today we're going to make this adorable crocheted pumpkin, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a couple of easy steps. So what you'll need for this project is some polyfill. You need a crochet needle. I'm using an H, but you can use whatever size you have. I have a plastic needle because I don't like to poke myself with a metal one, but if you have a metal one with a large eye, you can use that. And I have a pair of vintage scissors, but a lot of people have fun craft scissors. You can use anything that will cut the yarn swiftly. Some scissors don't do that. And I'm using a bright orange red heart yarn. So let's begin our project. You're going to go ahead and get the yarn on your crochet needle, and everybody has a different technique for doing that. It doesn't matter, but you've got it on. Just remember, it shouldn't be too tight. It should slide easily on your needle, on your hook, sorry. And you want to chain 11. So go ahead. If you don't know how to chain, you just wrap it around and you pull it through. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So working into the chain, not the one your hook is on, next to it. What you're going to do is you're going to, first of all, take your hook off, turn it around, and on the back of your chain is the bumpy side. Now, when I started crocheting, nobody told me this about bumps. They just said work on the bumps. You're going to do bumpity bump in the first top bump. So you can see there's like a, you can see here, there's a top and a kind of a middle bump and a bottom. And what I started doing is when they said work in the back of the bumps, I'd work in the top and then the bottom and the top and the bottom, and it would come all uneven. So I'm going to show you how to do this so that it's even. You want to see that top bump right there? You want to work it just through that. You want to pull your thread through. Got 2 on there. You want to slide it across and pull it through. It's a single stitch. So basically you're just doing a single stitch in the very top of each bump. See, I didn't pull the middle or the bottom. Just be careful and go into the top little loop of the bump. And if you do that, you'll be all set. Now this is a little tedious, this process, but it gets a little easier as it moves on. So the next thing you want to do is when you get to the end of your little chain here, whoops, top bump only, is you want to go ahead and turn it and chain 1. Okay, so you're going to turn it and chain 1. Now, as you make this project, it should look something like this. Okay? And the other thing is, now we're going to do single stitches, and we're going to do 21 for a total of 22. So this first chain that we did to get started, forget about it. Forget about it means forget about it, because we're never going to do this for this project again. So as you move through this project, you're always going to do a single chain in the back loop. So not in the one that you, not the one chain that you did on the end there, but the back loop. You're going to pull the back loop. You're going to pull it through. You're going to wrap it around and you're going to pull it through. Back loop, wrap it around, pull it through. back of the loop, wrap it around, and pull it through. Back loop only. Pull it around. And see, that's what gives it that nice little bumpiness. And when you do 22 of those total, you're going to have that nice little bumpiness. Okay? And I'll show you that nice little bumpiness is going to look just like that when you're done with your 22. Now, this is a darker orange, and this also happens to be a red heart 2-ply, so this is a double ply versus the other one. So it actually, without doing more stitches, it's going to give you a little bigger pumpkin. So I'm just going to use this now to work with. So pause this video, come back to me when you finish 22, and I'm going to assume right now that you have finished the 22. Now, if you're a newbie and your ends aren't perfect and your middle isn't perfect on one side, don't worry about it. So take the side that you do not like and put it in the back. Leave the nice side up. Fold it. And I had a tail here. Don't worry about the tail of your work. We're going to slip stitch this shut. So when you slip stitch this shut, I don't want my tail to get in, hold on. So my tail's been getting into the, when you slip stitch this, try to get these even all the way across. So you're slip stitching even into all of them. If you can't, it's not a big deal because we're going to flip the work, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you slip stitch, I'm going to show you how to slip stitch again. You push the hook through the front and the back piece. You grab the yarn, and then you pull the yarn through your loop that's on your hook. So grab the next two, pull it through, and then pull it through the one that's on your hook. Doesn't matter if it's perfect either, like I said. Pull it through, pull it through. I want to make sure. I don't know if I'm showing you this very well. Let me try to see if I can. So you're going to go through that. And again, you know what it is? It's just to close up the sides here. If you prefer, you can take your knitting needle or your crochet needle and you can yarn it over instead. But I like to, because we're going to flip it like this, so I like it to look even, because if I do a needle, I can't always tell where the stitches are on the side here. The only thing is I'm kind of got my yarn stuck a little bit. So I'm slip stitching this all the way to the end. Okay. So pulling it through, slip stitching is just like pulling it through, pulling it back through, and I've got a little piece there, and pulling it through the last one you just worked on. So see, I've got this on, I'm taking it through, I'm pulling it through, I'm pulling it through, and I'm pulling it through. And sometimes it gets caught because this is, you know, thick now that you're working through. And again, if you don't line it up perfectly and it's not perfectly aligned, it doesn't matter. So when you get to the end, chain one and pull. And then what you're going to want to do is make a nice long, I'm talking mega long. Give yourself a lot of leeway, because now you're going to cut this and you're going to go ahead and thread your needle. So you're still attached to this, okay? You're gonna go ahead and thread your needle. Hopefully you have a nice, big, wide needle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work your needle around the project. So you're going to weave in and out of every other one. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Every other pumpkin bump, you're weaving in and out your needle, just like so, pulling it through, see? And you'll be able to pull it together when you're done. So, see that? Doesn't have to be perfect, but it should. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I kind of like to have it perfect, but, and when you get to the end, you should be able to pull it tight. And it should look something like this when it's pulled tight. Now, if you have a little gap there or a hole, you can work the needle from one end to the other. I usually just pull it really tight so that it's got that nice little bump there. Now, this is hopefully the ugly end. You're gonna still have your needle on there, and you're gonna just flip it. And that's the bottom of your pumpkin. Doesn't that look cute? And you're gonna flip it like this. Very easy, so easy peasy. Then you're gonna take your polyfill, and you can fill this as much. If you like a fat pumpkin, fill it. Fill it, fill it, fill it. If you like a skinny pumpkin, however you want to fill it. So I just I put the polyfill in, and what I kind of do is I just kind of like grab it together like that to see how I like the shape of it. And I think, well, you know what? I want a little more in there because I want mine to be a big fat pumpkin. This one grew really well in the cabbage patch. I mean in the pumpkin patch. Anyways, so you're going to do the same thing. All you did was bring your yarn through, because now your yarn was at the very bottom of this. So you didn't have to bring it through any other way because you flipped your work. So it's already there, and you're going to go ahead and yarn up the same way you did the bottom. So just follow the same pattern that you did on the bottom. Do that on the top. I'll meet you back around. Ooh, we're gonna have such a cute pumpkin. I know, and you don't have to do it in orange. If you guys have beautiful colors you want to use, I'm such a realist sometimes, and I think a pumpkin should be orange of some sort. So, hopefully you squeeze that together. Now, if the top of your pumpkin doesn't come together all the time, you can stitch across it. So just like if you love to sew, if you've never sewn, well, then you might be out of luck. But if you know how to sew, just bring it around and bring it around. And then you can also play with the polyfill a little bit to see where you want to get it. Now, the thing about it is, this is the secret. It doesn't squish in like a pumpkin should. So hopefully you made your yarn long enough. You're going to go through the middle with your needle. And you're going to take your needle and you're going to work it through the polyfill. And hopefully you've got a long enough needle. Now mine's plastic. A metal needle will probably work better, but here's the deal with the metal needle. I probably poke myself at the bottom. See the plastic? I worked it through. I got it through. And then you're going to pull it. And you want to pull it as tight as you want so that this pops in. And then you're going to bring it from the bottom. Looks like that opened up a little bit. You can close up the thing with the needle. You're going to bring it back through. And again, if you have a metal needle, you probably will have an easier time, but I look for it. Come on, Lori. There it is. And Ta-da! Oh, doesn't that look lovely? So, what I want to do, I don't know, I must have pulled, you know what I did is I pulled the tail through. Oh my goodness. That doesn't always happen. But now you have your adorable little pumpkin. Now here's the thing. You still have this string. So you can chain a top and just use this string as the top of your pumpkin, or you can tie a stem onto this, you can tie a leaf onto it. We're not going to do the stem or the leaf as part of this project. I'm going to have a separate tutorial for that. But anyways, there's your pumpkin. Have a great day.